Becky, this is exactly the situation I wanted to avoid because you know, and I know, and everybody knows, I would never put my hands on a lady. Thankfully, I got somebody who will.
That's how we start tonight's Wrestling Zero Podcast Extra. Hey, King of Podcasts here with you. So the return happened. And, you know, she looks good. She's in good shape. We'll see how she is in the ring. Eventually that match with Wrestlepalooza is going to be coming up to fruition. And also John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Looks like the final seeds are being set up for that. In the meantime, Sami Zayn was also involved in the whole mix of that. You know, they put that out there because Sami Zayn wanted to do a U.S. Open challenge like John Cena. The tie-in was put into play. Simple storyline to bring John Cena and Sami Zayn in. And apparently the story is that Sami Zayn will be the last opponent for John Cena on the way out in his retirement. Take that as you will. Now, either which way, there's a lot of things that the toxic, juvenile, delusional wrestling fandom is all gloating about tonight. You guys are very happy. Hey, good for you. Good for you. You get to enjoy yourselves. I love that. But, you know, enjoy it while you can because now we're going to have what Wrestlepalooza is going to be and how it's going to perform. The lead up, the hype, the pops. Okay, fine. I mean, you get that part. It makes you feel good. But the feel good part isn't going to matter for the business part. But business is business. Look, and this also going for a great week for the company, for the fandom, because of the fact that AEW took a dive on their Dynamite program in terms of the ratings. Didn't do much. Under 500,000 viewers. Shocking. But they don't have any excuses for it. I'll say that. When I look at what was going up against it, it was a pretty weak night. Besides the news channels that are out there for cable, it was going up against ESPN's U.S. Open tennis coverage, which got the bulk of viewers of live sports on Wednesday night. Nothing else. MTV's The Challenge? Well, no. I mean, it was about the 18 to 49 viewers? Sure. But the overall viewership? Yeah. But when you look at what they did for the show on Wednesday night as well, they didn't start hot. And I don't have any indifference to Tony Khan's booking, but I think the other thing has to be understood is you also got a book for the TV show and you need to sandwich in something that's going to really be solid. Now, of course, Darby Allin is considered a pillar, but you've had him off TV for so long. And I know you're trying to build up the storyline with him and the Death Riders. I get it, but that wasn't the way to go to start. They should have started with Mercedes Moné and the TBS title match with Alex Windsor. That should have started first. I mean, I get what they try to do. Of course, the opening segment with Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin and the moment where Gabe Kidd is dragged out in a body bag towed by a truck that Darby Allin drove out of the arena. I get that part. But you probably lost some viewership right there. People catching on for that. Should have happened later. I'm not saying this segment couldn't have happened, but it should have happened later in the night. It wasn't opening segment material. Mercedes Moné and the TBS title, that should have started off the night. And I don't know if the match, if the ratings would have gotten any better later on in the night for whatever it was. We don't know if there's anything else that caused it, but I'm going to just say, listen, an anomaly, but they took a hit. Wasn't good for them. And so the toxic juvenile delusional wrestling fandom is going to be all excited and frothing and happy about what's going on right now. Because they're all happy. Now, in the meantime, let's see if the ratings do well for SmackDown for this show that he did tonight. and what they decided to go and put together leading up to the Wrestlepalooza event. They booked a lot of things for this show in Chicago tonight. Apparently the 40th anniversary of WWE going to Rosemont, Illinois on a regular basis. So good for them. But off the bat, if you're looking at what they did so far in the night, Cena comes out, you get the whole thing with him. Sami Zayn interrupts. Big boos for that. The U.S. Open Challenge. The match goes on to start of the night. Hey, I mean, for what it's worth, I don't really care for Sami Zayn doing his U.S. Open Challenge and setting that up the way it was done, but John Cena starting off the night is the right way to start the television. You know, that give credit for that. No contest, by the way. And there's a lot of matches they had in here that really didn't make much of a difference, that nobody really paid attention to. Damian Priest, Aleister Black. Julia against Michin for the U.S. title, women's U.S. title. And then later on in the night, AJ Lee returning. And Becky Lynch with a repeat performance of what she said to Seth Rollins, or sorry, to CM Punk on behalf of Seth Rollins on Raw, you know, paintbrushing CM Punk once again. And when CM Punk goes outside this time, he's like, I'm not going to fight because you're a lady, but I have someone that will. And cue AJ Lee. And apparently she signed a contract. We don't know what the contract's for, if it's a permanent thing. It would be really astonishing if AJ Lee became a regular member of the roster. I could see a Legends contract. I could see where she's out there working some dates, but not an active regular wrestler. Coming back after all this time, you know, there's not a lot of stars you know of that will make their way back after all this time and just, okay, 10 years later, 11 years later, come back and start the career. Especially for women in this space. When you see women that will come into the space fresh off, and she had a great career already when she decided to leave WWE altogether. Fine. And I never questioned or had any dispute about what she did in the business for herself. I thought she had a very good career. But I just thought, as for most women, you wouldn't think that they would stay around, you know, nearing 40 and continue to go and apply their trade into the wrestling business. She went away because she got married, she had children, living her life, and she's done pretty well for herself outside of the ring. So why come back now? CM Punk looks like he's happy as can be to have his wife back in there, and it might make things pretty easy for him to go and see over there. But we don't know. Hey, the whole never seen everything comes in. The crowd's happy about it. I don't know what this is supposed to mean and how far this goes along in the process for her, but okay. They decided to go and do this. Anyways, it's out there, and I guess maybe that her and Becky Lynch are going to have something together, because you could signal the fact that the Intercontinental title was on there on the mat, and then when Becky Lynch ran off after being attacked by AJ Lee, who was trying to go ahead and, you know, put her down because of what she was doing to CM Punk, that she's skippity doo-dah with the Intercontinental title belt and looking like she's going to try to go and claim it for herself. So there's probably a storyline to go and have for her here. Same thing also goes with Brock Lesnar, who makes an appearance. We hadn't seen him since what? Brock Lesnar coming back on the second night of SummerSlam that really put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And it's almost as if they're trying to make Wrestlepalooza be a more important show than what SummerSlam was. I don't know if they're trying to book it as such, but a lot of hotshot booking to lead to a show in 2 weeks that really doesn't have much set up yet. But nevertheless, at this point, Wrestlepalooza still only has 2 matches scheduled. We still haven't got anything booked or finalized for a couple other matches we're supposed to have scheduled. At least we would think there would be a couple more matches scheduled. The mixed tag should be in there somewhere. We don't know what else. So anyway, AJ Lee's return brought people to emotional highs. There was actually some tears being poured out by some of the Twitch streamers I saw that actually put clips out there. And, you know, some people feel like this was like the second coming here. I don't know. Like, I was really shocked and surprised by how people were really so overwhelmingly jubilated by seeing AJ Lee return. But there's a difference between what we have with the fandom and how they're going to feel about this show. But the question will be, will the ratings reflect that? And I don't know if it's going to do that or not. Because if they're supposed to be getting the ratings that we're supposed to get, if some of my fellow podcast wrestling brethren said this was must-see TV, okay, they put that out there, then you got to look at the SmackDown ratings we've had recently. Just going back, let's say go back just for the month of August. 1.544 million viewers for August 1st. 1.557 for August 8th. 1.43 million for August 15th. Just going by the list here. Then 1.258 for August 22nd. And 1.147 for August 29th. 1.147 million viewers. And keep this in mind that tonight in live sports, we had NFL, the international game from Brazil, the Chargers and the Chiefs, which, by the way, was a good game all the way to the end. And on YouTube, probably took some people away. Just making that point, too. And I'll tell you the other thing that's got to be considered as well. I'm still waiting to see what happens with Wrestlepalooza and what will be airing during the time that Wrestlepalooza will be airing live from Indianapolis. As I said before, there are several games in college football. And by the way, for somebody to say that, because college football runs all day, sure it does. But the ratings for the games that are going to be running at either noon or 3:30, which are the normal time slots for those nationally broadcast college football games, they don't pull the ratings they do at prime time. Everybody's pulling the best games, the best matchups go up in prime time, 7:30, 7:45, 8 o'clock. And one of the marquee matches coming up this weekend, or that weekend, week 4 of the college football season, will be Florida Gators visiting the Miami Hurricanes. I wouldn't doubt it if that game was not put on ABC or ESPN, which means it's going to be on the ESPN app at the same time as Wrestlepalooza, and it'll be on either ABC or ESPN television. So for people to go and say that we're going to go and catch that event, it's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. The one significant game that will be going on while AEW has All Out in Toronto is Michigan and Nebraska, which won't be much of a thing. Illinois, Indiana might be going on, but the thing is that also might be going on in prime time as well, because that is a top 25 matchup. The teams are doing very well. Probably would be nice for them to go have a night game for themselves because it's not that cold outside. So that game could very well be prime time. And by the way, that's in Bloomington, Indiana, about 50 miles south of Indianapolis. So a lot of people are going to still be going to watch that game because of the importance of that game right there up against Illinois, rivalry game. I don't see where the focus, even in Indiana itself, will be there. But that's okay. Neither here nor there. Did get one comment that I wanted to bring up here from the Black Bolt 5514. He says, I will enjoy seeing AJ Lee back. I think she may wrestle 2 matches of that, but a lot of people romanticize her career. She was not this all-time great in-ring worker. She was more known for her look and her character work. I agree. Keep that in mind too. The AJ Lee we're getting now in the ring at this point is just CM Punk's wife. Okay? She's the complement to CM Punk. That's what this is right here. And Seth Rollins with Becky Lynch is the same thing. So AJ Lee, she's not going to be the crazy character she was before. And she definitely spoke for herself. Definitely outspoken. She had pretty good promos for herself in her time in WWE when she was around. So there's that. I don't know if we're going to get that character. I mean, she looks the same. I will give her that. For being 27 years old when we last saw her, to see how she looks now, 38, yeah, her body looks exactly the same. It's like she has not aged. She's definitely got a little older, you can tell, but like really, it's nothing significantly different. She looks good. She looks like what I would expect her to go and look like. 10 years removed from the company. I mean, that's good for her. A lot less bumps on her, But then for CM Punk, he also took a lot of time away. He wouldn't have did UFC for a little bit, and, they went off and did their own things. And it's amazing where this company now, if this were Vince McMahon, I don't know if CM Punk would ever return. And for that matter, AJ Lee also returning as well. But this is something where obviously CM Punk's getting the advantage here. Oh, bring my wife back in. It's a payday for her too. Make that point. But I think there's a lot of fans, a lot of girls that really did look up to her and her look. And see how it's replicated. It used to be replicated all the time at Halloween. And that was really cool. But it's been so long ago. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe a new generation of fans are going to catch on and find out why all these Gen Z millennials are all caught up on this. I get it. But that's all this is. A red herring. As I put in the description of this episode tonight. A red herring at the most. This is window dressing. It is so shallow compared to the full breadth of what's going on with Wrestlepalooza as a setup, which initially only came about because of the pettiness of WWE, because they wanted to go ahead and counter program AEW. And there's been comments out there from the wrestling community. Brian Alvarez actually make a couple of points that one I completely disagree with, and the other one is like whatever. But there were some comments put out there, and I do want to make that point clear that some of the comments that were being made, I don't agree with at all. Make that point more than anything. By the way, I didn't realize this, but yes, apparently MJF and Alicia Toot are marrying. I guess, I don't know if they were engaged, but I guess, yes, they got married. Good for them. I didn't realize that. So Alicia Toot, good girl. Liked her since going back to TNA in the days, and even in MLW, that's where they probably met. And so, yeah, they're together. He's a married man. Good on you, brother Max. Hope you enjoy and hope everything goes very well. In the meantime, comments that have been made out there from the wrestling community leading up to this, we got to go and talk about. By the way, I must say, Tiffany Stratton in all black leather, great look for her. I like that she's more, it's just more of a, gives me like a Sable vibe, but to me, a little bit more better looking Sable, I guess. But yeah, she's definitely not hiding, her assets anymore, or not even the assets, but the chest is definitely out there front and center. No more Barbie look for her. That's obviously a point. And then the toxic fandom out there. One person writing one of the best endings in SmackDown in years, they brought up. Another person, the dream matches, AJ Lee versus Roxanne, AJ Lee versus Liv Morgan, AJ Lee versus Io Sky, AJ Lee versus Becky, AJ Lee versus Rhea, AJ Lee versus Stephanie Vaquer. All right. And then one person writes out and says that the fact that Sami Zayn was facing John Cena is that when Sami Zayn made his main roster debut, he challenged John Cena for the U.S. title in the Open Challenge. So Sami Zayn's the new U.S. champion right now and decided to go and return the favor and get John Cena to accept his Open Challenge. That was interesting. I'm just going through some things here that I had through X to the bookmarks that I kind of held up and looked at. So I just thought it was interesting. Now, one last thing before we wrap things up. A report being put out. Oh, that's right. I want to tell you about what Brian Alvarez said. That, okay, because of the fact that Tony Khan chose to go and move his show up to 3 o'clock, because of the fact, number one, he says that Tony Khan should have just tried to see how his show would perform against Wrestlepalooza. And Dave Meltzer said absolutely not. And I agree with Dave Meltzer on that one. I would never do that. Why you want to tempt yourself into the Monday Night War? What are you, Eric Bischoff? What are you, Dixie Carter? No. We don't do this here. The second biggest wrestling promotion out right now, even though you might say, oh, because of the ratings might not be supporting that fact. Okay, whatever. You can say that. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't make a difference to me. You're not hurting my feelings by saying that. I'm just making the point across. that is the fact that if WWE was able to go and get Tony Khan to move his show up earlier in the day, then you could tell that WWE is always going to just keep going after this company because they think, oh, just like the good bullies that they are, they feel like they're going to be okay with just kind of pushing the boundaries on these folks and keep pushing and pushing. They're going to do it anyway. Doesn't matter. Last thing here, I also noticed from Wrestling Observer newsletter that the new AAA promotion creative structure has been put together. Triple H is at the top. Main creative support will be Jeremy Borash, The Undertaker, Conan, and Dorian Roldan. So Conan and Dorian Roldan will still be somewhat in the booking committee, basically, for this. But Undertaker and Jeremy Borash are also part of this as well. Key producers, Matt Bloom, Pete Dunne, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Jack Melendez, Juan Rivera or Savio Vega, and Jose Cordero, Lindsay Dorado, and also one other person. Also some input from Shawn Michaels to Triple H, but said that while he was at shows, he's not really involved because he's so heavily invested in NXT. So there you go. Triple H will become Americanized. It will change. And I think Conan will have to go and take back the fact that Triple A will not be the same because Triple H will make it so. I really believe that. It's just how it's going to be. So I'm not going to bring anything else up. We'll leave it there. I had no movie to watch tonight, so I was bored. And I was watching the football game, and I also caught the clips of SmackDown, so I was like, all right, I'll talk about it. Why not? And there we go. We'll leave it there. Come back next Wednesday for another Wrestling is Real podcast because wrestling needs us.